Aloha, this is Jim Channon. This is a new book, and I've made it available to you on missionparadise.net. You can download every page in this book, and it is an example of the way I use all of the kinds of art that I do, because I believe art is actually a language. It's a language system, and somehow the concepts about it are a little too primitive, because it does a whole lot more than perhaps the same amount of words. Now I'm going to show you a few shots from this book so you can understand the variety. So here's a style of art that's meant to support a journal taking. So it's kind of a scripted look, and it has a little etching qualities to it, and has the action involved and the product involved. So here is art that's meant to be goofy. It's designed to make the people look confused, and not only because their eyes are not in the same plane, but because of their general array of their clothes, the type of typeface. All of this is meant to be decidedly goofy. That's a flavor. Here's a way to look at something you have to build, and it's a sky view, and they're extremely handy when you're trying to get people to all operate. This is an outdoor pavilion with water features. Here, most handy thing when you're ready to develop land is a bird's eye view technique. Notice how simple all of the houses and the trees are. It's got a charming level. But by golly, when you're getting ready to put your houses in, or have the guy put the road in the right way, or the power, is really helpful. Here we go to a little bit more mystical style. We're creating here a theater experience. So the sets and the characters with their costumes and whatnot are all part of the sort of floral excitement of the idea. It's meant to wake up a Renaissance mind. Here's a simple division of space, which is not normally explained in regular photographs, but in this case, a really simple way to show the relationship of what goes in the ground and all the way up to a kind of bioalchemy. This is probably, for the imagination, the most important a language piece there is. Everything belongs in a field of interest. The field of interests overlap. The field of interest can be highlighted to show which ones are important, and if you do this the right way, you can begin to move the pieces around until the relationships are right. This visual language shows relationships in a quality way. Here's a design for an outdoor display. It's done a little bit lyrically and in a cartoon style. It's meant to go in at a festival and to depict a First Earth Battalion kind of idea. And here we have you want to get somebody's attention, make the lines move with energy. Notice these lines are all just loaded with stroke. And then they're colored with some passion and not a whole lot of detail. Don't fill in all the spaces. No, that'll make it all flat. Here is your current solar system, and with the 40 new galactic civilizations that have been coming to the table for 50 years, sort of under the table, and the 11 civilizations that are underneath our biosphere and underneath our soil, including oceans under there, and just shows how many players are really involved. This is the first super extra world art piece probably that's ever been done. And here we have a series of awakening experiences, which start with the awakening eye at the top and slide down. Very friendly kind of forms here. This is not meant to over-exaggerate complexity or even suggest it's a part of the kind of grace. This communicates in a graceful, simple way. Here the pie has gotten pieces in yellow, which is exactly what we already know about imagination. And the pieces in the hot pink there are, well, it's not so hot, are the things that most people need to work on in order to get a completely mature imagination. Now here's how you take a regular org chart and make it as exciting as a football team poster. This is something I did in the Army some time ago. Notice how nice it is to have regular typefaces and also highly energetic hand-drawn typefaces too. Here we've got a different tone altogether. This is for sustainable ecstasy, and this employs all of the sentient intelligence that's involved in the breath and the smell and the amount of heat, etc. And you notice it's a way to show the fields are combined. You don't just invite in one sacred field, you invite in 7. Here's a multiple personality at work. Now this is the kind of sadistic cartoon style, but it's very much about the subject at hand of bipolar people or people with sort of challenged realities and made funny. You want something to fly through space like it knows where it's going? Look at how these arrows are treated and colored, and how they, well, just look at the word thrust, for example. Does that look like the idea of thrust? Yes, so it is isomorphic to the idea. Here, for a timber company, a succinct set of actions from beginning all the way out to end, with supporting ideas left and right. It is not mechanical, it is softer, and the colors are softer, and you know, and speak to trees, harvest and plant and build. We even have a cute little dog on the right to flavor it. So that's how it goes. Here's a template which an organization can use to include all the various elements of a vision and a strategy. And there they are, all named out. And these are on the website, missionparadise.net, and you can copy as you need. And so it is. This is the book of the day, and a precursor to me explaining why imagination is not a type of intelligence. It's an elegant mix of intelligences. Visual language, sometimes referred to, you know, as pop-up art, you know, or idea graphics or something like that. It's much more sophisticated tool. You can paint with ecstasy. You can paint with serious drama. You can paint with high energy action. And I want to take you around the studio here and give you some ideas of how the extremes of language can be found in paintings, and that the bigger idea here is to set ourselves up for a better imagination. So around here is a type of set of tools in the modern world. Yeah, Post-its, by golly, Post-its and sticky paper. This looks highly organized, but for the imagination, I can change any one of these at any time to someplace else and keep examining the relationships until they make sense. Your brain can't hold all this in the same way, especially if it's just words. If it's pictures, they do a lot better. But here you have the secrets of ascending intelligence, and it's a way that it's been color-coded for importance, it's been color-coded for sequence, and the color code also speaks to what chapter each of these ideas will be in a book. Now we go to the monstergram. Shucks, let's just get a chance to swallow that one, Jake. Pull back as far as you need to. You see, you might imagine that this picture was all done from a plan. But in this case, every piece of this picture, like this piece, for example, came from a dream, and it went up here first, before anything else. Then this temple, which was a part of an experience I had in Italy, came through somewhat later. And I just put it over here with enough room for the rest of the things to breathe. And after a while, after 60 ideas had come to me, this matrix slash montage with 60 words on it, by the way, popped up as possibilities for this century. And what happened then, after looking at it and looking at it, a whole story came out of this section about the people from the inside of the earth coming up and creating a much more feminine, watershed-based culture with soft architecture, etc. And over here, the local universe, mostly in our solar system, but other extraterrestrials come with a package of goods in their ships, drop it off in a bioregion where there is a watershed. The army comes out, the New Earth Army comes out to meet them and helps them put that coordination together. Oh, by the way, probably led by one of these guys from Agartha, who've been inside 14,000 years longer than us have been outside, and they would be the primary coordinators. Now, that might not turn out how it will be, but as I inform my military allies and people, soldiers of the world, about what their really most important mission is to shift national security to natural security, this is the kind of job they're going to want and need. So, sorry. Another moment here too of showing where texture and even what the French call what do they call it for destroying frottage. So this painting was outside, it got some rain on it, it sat outside and it peeled. Some people said, oh my gosh, you should just paint that all over. But this to me looks like rising light. And this guy's gaze is so perfectly equanimous. This guy is not inside his body worried about something. He's not completely outside. He is present for duty. That's what I like about him. And the textures there are both graphic and very ancient, smooth, like the face is old Spanish style painting portraiture, but the lines around here are very galaxy level. And this guy is a soldier of the New Earth Army, ready to go to his bioregion of choice. Here we have one of the ancient elders of Hawaii, who's passed now, Halimakua. And when I got a chance to paint him, I saw the painting itself didn't catch him on one of his best days. So I streamlined his haircut here, which most people won't understand. I took his eyelashes and swept them forward to give him a forward-looking image. The little reflective dots inside have been moved 1/4 of an inch to the right to give it more of a feeling of movement into a visionary state. The mouth was turned up a little extra, the beard was trimmed, and I put a big raspberry blotch over here to show the sweetness on his lips. I moved his garment out of behind of it, his jewelry out of behind his garment, and I covered his sort of unconsequential chest with a fake shadow from an ostensible tree over here. Again, the rain gave this little guy some features, and it's a patina, which I think works like an adverb, sort of, or an adjective to give this guy some more ancient quality. Now let's just go mechanical, back into the world of both geometry and cartoons. We have not a generic anywhere a relationship could be found. No, this is the base of the action, which puts a field of knowledge into a thing called the cyberversity, adds an entire media library of videos, photos, artwork, music, and scenics, gives them to 5 people who do the videos, scan the old best art, optimize the web, use the still cam when necessary, and do the workarounds as a computer expert. And so the products of this, done in simple formats, then go out to many, many websites as we begin to spread the ideas using targeting words that optimize the website. And this is how a cyberversity on the web can give us the world we want. Here's another image that's interesting from a point of view of when you grow up, you learn to make lines around things like houses and then color them in with solid colors of certain kind. This is a portrait of a woman who has more elements of pure energy than she does concept. So we have energy in the roots of a tree, coming into herbal alchemy, moving into a state of fire, which is emulsifying a blooming flower, which is throwing off. Look at the graceful nature of how this is flowing off. Grace is a big part of this, the whole thing. And look at how this water forms, then blow into her primal act of catching this lovely woodpecker, who was a favorite friend of hers, somewhere between the moon and the sun. Now back up a little bit here, you can see if you were in fifth dimensional space and all you were seeing was energy from somebody, it might look more like that. But we've not been told you paint energy. No, you just paint solid things or space. Moving over here to the last couple of things I'd like to show you is art can be used as heraldry too. This is a sacred idea to me. This is the completely recovered biosphere around planet Earth with the supporting extraterrestrial and interterrestrial nations helping us to repair that. And it's couched or framed in a beautiful sunrise color, looking opulent, and at the same time looking like a jewel. So, high value, very important, very special heraldry going on here. It is like that also over here. Here's a blow up of that version done in an all sort of gold color with the same level of jewelry on it, flowers mixed in, fruit mixed in, and it's about the long range elements that will be needed to get us to these optimal end states. So that's kind of this part. Now jumping right over here quickly to when I say, you know, art is a language, what's happening here? This is a corporate diagram that's asking them to come up with a higher purpose. The implication of this huge ramp here is that the leader has got to lead people off the ground, off the planet almost, to get to this superordinate goal here. And that all of the information they need will actually arrive at the right time as they go along. That is all built into the primal structure of this being. Here we go on a trip where we know we're going to go through some challenging zones. This is the first event horizon here, and the idea is to determine when those goals and those obstacles should be breached. In the mission picture up here about the design, where you're trying to find out what the approach is to optimizing, notice how the arrows sort of lose their control look and they begin to meander a little bit, because when you don't know the changes that are coming to you, the what of how you move in every month of your experience has to change, and subtly, but so. These forms used as shadows make this all pop. Shadows are a very underexplained use of fine art. And finally, you get over here to the place where all of the high impact data is applied to each of the phases of the operation. and you're tracking various kinds of inputs, resources, what's available, allies and whatnot. Your calendar is there, and you can see the integral power of this. This is a way art can join many different areas and show the relationships, the complex relationships that are going on there. And so this place is designed to be inspiring, and I'm going to ask Jake to just wander around and see the level of temple we have constructed. We also do chanting and sacred activities here, and other kinds of meetings, men's group meetings, etc. And the theater level availability for all the things in the room is what makes it possible for us, with almost no notice, to set up a really very powerful environment. Looking at a talking stick there, and up to the man of Lemuria. And so it goes. Well, thank you for letting me have a ride around in my studio. This is Jim Channon. It's been a long time since I ever just talked about the art part. Meanwhile, go planet.